Welcome to Brunswick, Maryland, home to CSX's Metropolitan Subdivision and their Brunswick Rail Yard. Recently, many older locomotives have been placed into a deadline within the yard. But what exactly is a locomotive deadline, why do they occur, and why has one popped up in Brunswick of all places? Let's find out. To answer these questions, we must first head back to July of 2024 and head west to CSX's Cumberland yard. To put it simply, a locomotive deadline is a collection of locomotives often within a yard that are not operational. Essentially, it is the withdrawal of locomotives from active service and into storage. Here, we can see many locomotives sitting together in Cumberland's E-yard. From older EMD Standard Cabs and General Electric -8s to more modern AC traction locomotives. So why are they all here? There are three main reasons to find a locomotive in a deadline: traffic level fluctuations, awaiting repairs, or awaiting retirement or scrapping. Just like any other business, railroads experience fluctuations in traffic levels. Since the pandemic, railroads have struggled to return to pre-pandemic levels, but you can see that traffic is on the rise as of recently. When traffic levels are low, like during the pandemic, excess locomotives, often older, worn-down power like the -8s and 9s, are placed into storage. When traffic levels increase, excess power is pulled out of storage and placed into service. This has actually occurred on CSX as of recently, with about 50 -8s and 9s being reactivated and now roaming the rails to serve as extra reserve power. Traffic level fluctuations aren't the only reason for locomotives to be placed into a deadline. When locomotives are damaged, they often get placed into storage to await repairs, or, if serious damage is sustained, to await scrapping. Take a look at CSXT 2638, which appears to have taken damage from a collision to the head end of the locomotive. I'm not sure what the future holds for this locomotive, but based off the severe damage to its head end and its age, it's likely scrapping might be in its future. CSXT 3045 is a modern General Electric ES44AH, so it is definitely not here for scrapping. Instead, it suffered a prime mover failure and is awaiting for it to be repaired and reinstalled. After that, it will be back out on the road again. These are just a few of the more prominent examples of damage found around the yard, but many of the other locomotives in the deadlines have hidden internal damages that can't be seen from the outside that have caused them to be sidelined. For many of the older locomotives, like this MP15 or the SD50s and 40s in the deadline, they have simply become too old and worn down to be economically viable to fix. For the SD50 series, they have long suffered mechanical issues and have spent many years of their life in storage. The MP15s are coming up on 50 years of life and have fallen out of service in preference of higher horsepower SD and GP locomotives working the yards. Instead of spending money on constantly repairing these locomotives due to their age, they are instead rotting in storage lines across the country, waiting to be sold to a short-line railroad if they're lucky, or the scrapper if not. The EMD SD60 Max have long been a commonality in locomotive deadlines across the CSX system. Their whole operational lifespan has been plagued with mechanical and electrical failures. But CSX, with a need for motive power, has decided to overhaul these locomotives at their Huntington, West Virginia shops, and have seemed to resolve many of these issues. The SD60 Max have been one of the few lucky locomotives to get taken out of storage and gotten a new take on life as Huntington Overhaul SD70s. The SD70 Max you see still in storage are either awaiting rebuild at Huntington or have suffered a catastrophic failure that has been deemed too expensive to fix during overhaul. In 2024, CSX began upgrading Cumberland's yard for more fluent flat switching operations, which you can view in this video here. This project was completed in early 2025, and they began to move some of the locomotives stored in the yard to other locations, including Waycross, Georgia, Florence, South Carolina, and Winston, Florida. Even with all of those yards being used, there was more space needed, so a track in Brunswick was cleared, and power began making its way east on mixed freight train M415. Over the course of a few weeks, the entire length of the track within the yard limits was completely filled. Let's take a look at the deadlines here in Brunswick, now that we know what they are and why they are here. What was your favorite locomotive in the deadline here? Maybe it was Dash 8, number 7670, wearing the Atlantic Coastline emblem, CSX's first iteration of heritage units. Or maybe it was Yardslug 1064 or MP15's 1221 and 1164 parked side by side. Maybe it was by far some of the rarest locomotives still on the CSX roster, the YN2 2-paint EMDs. Here we see GP40-2, number 6957, which was in service up until not too long ago, and SD40-2, number 8863. My favorite locomotive in the deadlines here was not any of those though. Instead, it was former Conrail SD60M, number 8763, which has been off the roster since at least 2019. The unit has yet to be sold off, so it remains in the deadlines, waiting for its day to come. The SD60s were a staple of my childhood rail fanning, so it was good to see one of the last remaining in CSX paint. Whatever your favorite locomotive was, thank you all for watching this video, especially if you made it to this point. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a like down below. Until next time, this is Commonwealth Rail, out.